How's it going, guys? So we've got the X3 is pretty much finished up. It's just sitting here running. Make sure there's no drips. Like, get the operating temperature. Make sure we're good. Put the cap back on. I just really want to compliment these Gates hoses. These Gates hoses did really good. Uh-oh, I think we're ready for the cap. Now, even though it's this full, whenever I put the cap on it, when we restart it, I'll show you. So anyway, how we do these, the X3 is a little bit different. It has this piece up here that sets it kind of in the way. The X5 has a similar setup. You never want to set that stuff on the ground where you can step on it. So you pull that out of the way. This has the E46 style fan where you can pull it out real easy. There's one T25 right there, and there's one push clip right there, and that whole thing slips out. So basically we just switch it all out. Here's the old stuff right here. Hopefully you can see this, and you can see the old hoses, how ballooned out that was on the end. That was getting ready to blow out, and it's real soft and real squishy. And usually the blowout there, the blowout here on the plastic at the bend at the seam, and they'll shatter out that way. We'll go ahead and send this stuff back with Shannon. This old coolant tank, this was an OEM tank. I think it had been done once in 189,000 miles. And where was it at here? You can see it had some leakage there on the back side. Once that stuff gets that way, dripped it on my shoe, you might as well get rid of it. Coolant tanks on these have a tendency to blow out the seam and pretty much just explode. So basically what I'm getting at here, if you buy the Chinese expansion tank, it's not going to work out for you. These Gates hoses, I have these in my Amazon store. These things always fit, just absolutely fit the best. They snap on real nice. They're actually made right. And if you can use Chinese hoses, these are not that cheap. They're $20-some a piece for the hoses. And I think the expansion tank was $40-some. So the China one's going to be like $20-some the expansion tank, and $16 per hose. So the hoses, there's no reason ever to use China ones at this point, and the China ones will drip. But these snapped on so nice, everything went together perfect. We are going to let this thing get up to temperature, make sure there's no drips, then we're gonna let it cool completely off. Whenever it cools completely off and recheck it, this is gonna be low, no doubt. It doesn't matter when you fill it, if it's over full like it was, it doesn't matter at all. After it cools off, it will be low no matter what you do. And as far as the fill procedure goes on these, we'll fill it with the engine off. This one was pretty empty to start with. It was actually low in the radiator, even though it wasn't really that low in the tank, which is normal if you have a leak. So how we do these, the upper hose are the screw right here, right? So we'll take the screw out, we'll fill it until it starts coming out that screw hole, then I'll put the screw back in. Then we'll go inside here, and we will try to get any snow in Shannon's car here. We'll turn the heater on, roll our knob up to max. We'll put the heat all the way up, and then we'll put the fan at least halfway up, not all the way up. And that'll open up the heater core. A lot of guys forget to open the heater core when they're refilling these, and it won't fill right. So what's going to happen if you don't fill the heater core right? The car will work fine, it won't have any issues. When you turn the heater on, the heater core is going to be empty. And there's a valve that on most of these it sets on the driver's side strut tower. So when you turn the heater on, it opens that valve up and lets coolant go into it. So if the heater core is empty, like I said, you'll fill it up, you'll be able to drive around until you turn the heater on, then it'll suck the big air bubble through. The air bubble will settle in the thermostat and in the water pump. The pump will be spinning, but it won't be spinning any water, it'll be spinning air, and then you're going to overheat. That's how a lot of these get blown up. That and people just have leaks they never tend to. Okay, one last thing. A lot of you guys will say, well, you don't have to take the fan out to do this. No, you don't have to take the fan out. It does make it easier. Everything's easier to get to. And what we did in this case, so we didn't have to pull the skid plate off, we just took a gallon milk jug, cut the top of it off, and when we pulled the fan out, that let us enough space where you get that gallon jug under that hose. So whenever I pulled the bottom hose off, that jug caught almost 100% of the coolant. So that keeps you from having to deal with taking the drain plug out in the radiator, which could snap off or could twist off and cause you to have to buy a new radiator. It's just another little tip or trick you could do. All right, so we're back. We just took it for our test run, put all the plastics back on, put the hood shocks back on, so no more vice grips on the hood shock. Everything is doing absolutely perfect. This Gates hose is really pulled through. No drips of anything under it. He said about a dime-sized drop of oil on his garage floor. I don't really see anything leaking on it. That undercarriage tray, the skid plate, it's a collector of different things, different fluids. They could tend to spill out. So maybe this minuscule drip over months could result into a little puddle, but for right now I don't really see anything else wrong with it. Okay, so we're gonna let her just cool off here, let her get down to room temperature, and we'll pull the cap off and we'll have to refill just slightly. And that's it, guys. That's gonna be all for the E83, and this is pretty much identical on E46 and the Z3 stuff that has that coolant tank. Buy the name brand bottle. That's one thing you must do. It will save you a nightmare of grief. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.